Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. Elon Musk challenges Vladimir Putin to a one-on-one fight over Ukraine. FSD Beta 10.11 is finally released, and Tesla's stock price continues to crash. We got a lot to cover, so do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. Don't forget, we do have a merch store. You can find the link down below in the description. Let's get into it. Well, there's no way we couldn't start with this today. This morning, Elon Musk tweeted the following: I hereby challenge Vladimir Putin to single combat. Stakes are Ukraine. This is real. He actually tweeted this. This is not a joke. This is not me messing around or hyperbole or anything. And he actually went ahead and, somebody else posted this right following this tweet. One of the world's top sumo wrestlers showed up at the party along with some of his compatriots. A ring had been set up at the castle, and Musk faced off against the champion. He was 350 pounds, and they were not jiggly pounds. Musk said, I went full adrenaline rush and managed to lift the guy off the ground. He let me win that first round, and then he beat me. I think my back is still screwed up. So I think it's funny that they're referencing this whenever they're talking about Musk challenging Putin. But then Elon even responded to this saying the following: yeah, I did manage to throw the world champion sumo wrestler, but at the cost of smashing a disc in my neck that caused me insane back pain for 7 years. So what does all this mean? Is Elon Musk going to fight Putin? Well, knowing Elon, remember the poll for whether or not he should sell his shares? He said whatever the outcome is what he's going to do. Well, I don't think Elon's joking here either. If Putin were to say, yes, let's do it, I do think Elon would fight Vladimir Putin. I mean, these are not sentences I ever thought I would actually utter out loud. Elon Musk fighting Vladimir Putin. Now, I know, I can't believe I'm taking this seriously, but a lot of people were sitting there talking about, but Putin is former KGB. Putin is a black belt in judo or jiu-jitsu. Elon Musk would get wrecked essentially. But you do have to think about physics a little bit, right? Elon's about 20 years younger than Putin. Elon dwarfs him in size, in weight. All that does matter. But I don't think anything's going to happen from this, but I will say, whenever the stock price is already kind of crazy, these are the kind of things you really don't want to be seeing. And on top of that, we already have, the issue of, or the risk of, if something happens to Elon, what does that mean in the bigger scheme of things? Now, I think Tesla would be just fine, to be honest. I think they have enough momentum, but none of us want any risk or any chance of anything happening to Elon. So, you see something like this, especially with these elevated, times and tensions are just at a height, at a peak. You don't really want to see things like this. Just my 2 cents. But it did make me laugh this morning when I saw them. Like, there's no way this isn't Elon. This is a fake account. I had to look at it 3 times. Nope. Sure enough, this is Elon being Elon. You gotta love him. You really do. Okay. So with that said, let's take a look at this next clip I have right here. So this is yet like the 7th time that Chowdhury has been calling everybody's attention to how amazing this quarter is going to be for Tesla. Look at this. Global Equities, Chowdhury says Tesla, TSLA, Q1 deliveries, quote, monstrous following checks. So for those of you who don't know, Chowdhury will check his supply chains. He'll check, the people he knows in different locations, whether it's China, US, to get an idea of how things are going with Tesla. If you've ever seen the TV show Billions, okay, you know how, they have their people that go out and take a look at, different areas, factories to see what momentum, what things are going on. That's essentially what he's doing here, right? This is groundwork. It's like reporting or journalism, but from a stock market perspective. Anyways, it goes on to say global equities research analyst Trip Chowdhury reiterated an overweight rating and a $1,500 price target on Tesla. Following his March 12th factory checks, Chowdhury proclaims delivery activity in the quarter is monstrous. His notes continue to say sequentially, Model S Plaid, the $130,000 car, deliveries are up 15%. And the big thing about that is that Model S is a very high margin vehicle. So I just thought I would call that to your attention before we get into the FSD Beta 10.11 information. So FSD Beta 10.11 is officially out as of this recording. I have seen pretty much all videos of FSD 10.11 that have been out so far. I do plan, because this seems to be more of a grander release, like more of a step change release is what it seems like so far. I might do a compilation video of everything I'm seeing with FSD 10.11. I haven't done one of these in quite some time, but this may be a version, a upgrade that may warrant, going back to making some of these videos. So let me take a look at all of the other videos that I've seen. Again, the idea is to let me spend my time going through watching all these videos, because I'm going to do it anyways, and then I'll distill them into one concise video so you can kind of see all the highlights and skip all the boring parts. So nobody, honestly, the majority of these drives, there's nothing interesting, right? It's just people going straight or left or right, and everything's going good. But what you want to see is more of either the errors, the interventions, or you want to see the more impressive moments where it's like, oh no, what's it going to do here? I'm really nervous. Oh, it handled that well. Look at that, right? Those are the things that we really want to see. So based on what I see from more of the videos coming out, I'll decide whether or not I'm going to make a video like that. But with that said, what's impressive about this release? Well, last night, Homar's catalog essentially asked if anybody has the release notes, and sure enough, a Tesla insider DM'd him the release notes, and so then he posted them on Twitter. What was even crazier is, look at this. You can read what Homar's wrote here for a tweet about Andrej Karpathy, which is crazy because he retweeted him, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to risk getting demonetized, but essentially Andrej commented and retweeted on what Omar posted here, which, like, before we even talk about what he posted here, what other company, when something gets leaked, new updates, new things early get released, what other company would have their lead AI engineer, the guy who's the head of all of their autonomous vehicle, all the driving, everything, would just come on to that released, leaked information and just go ahead and talk about what he's so excited about? No, everybody else would be complaining and just, trying to figure out who's the leak, who did this, who did that. No, not Tesla. They just come on top, say, oh, yeah, this is what I like the most. This is what I think is awesome. And that's what happened here with Andrej. This is only Tesla you would see this. And so Andrej goes ahead and says, FSD Beta 10.11 release notes, favorite item. Upgrade modeling of lane geometry from dense rasters, bag of points, to an auto-aggressive decoder that directly predicts and connects vector space, lanes point by point using a transformal neural net. In other words, we have moved into vector space decision making rather than going pixel by pixel. Okay, that's as high level as I can explain this. All right, so essentially everything that we saw from AI Day, on Autonomous Day, whenever the Optimus bot was revealed, that is what he's talking about here. They finally implemented this. All right, this is something that hadn't been implemented before, and now it's here. So let's look even a little closer into some of these notes. And mind you, these aren't going to be the best pictures because, again, this was from the leaked information. But I thought it'd be fun to just talk about some things that I think are exciting. So this first one that you can see here, if you can see it, about the upgrade of the modeling lane geometry. Again, this is essentially moving away from individual frames and trying to get more into a vector space decision making. All right, and a lot of this was accomplished by stitching videos together, by increasing labeling, more data. Right, a lot of things that went into this, but the big thing about this is that now we're getting into a point where it will be like driving the vehicle in a video game, or at least for the neural nets, that's what it'll feel like, right? It'll have better understanding of the world, right? In other words, think about this. If I showed you a still image of a certain time period on a road, right? Maybe there's a telephone pole right here, and maybe there's a little girl hiding behind it. Well, I don't actually know the full context of this moment. Okay, well, then there's another still frame I see. Okay, maybe now I see a foot moving forward. Okay, maybe I have an idea that maybe there's something there. The idea of the whole going to vector space is that I'm looking things more from a video type mindset. At least that's the best I can explain it, right? It's more about being more fluid with it, seeing things as they are rather than in still images and looking at things from a pixel by pixel perspective. But we can talk more about this in the future. If we look at the next update that they have here, they use more accurate predictions of where vehicles are turning or merging to reduce unnecessary slowdowns for vehicles that will not cross our path. I think this is a big thing to do with all the phantom braking people talk about. This one, I get a little annoyed and irked. Let me know down below in the comments if you guys do. When I watch some of these full self-driving videos, look, I so much respect to every YouTuber out there who takes the time to do this and put it out there for everybody who doesn't have FSD Beta. We'll start there. Absolute appreciation for all of you. My only ask would be to be careful on how you come across with your tone and the way you deliver your content, because sometimes it seems like you're just whining. And it becomes very annoying. It gets to a point where you sit there and you think, all right, then just be quiet and don't do this. Like, if you're just going to sit there and whine and complain, like, you have to understand you're testing a beta product. And I get frustration can set, but there's just a different way you can approach it, right? You can complain in a positive way, and you can complain in a way that you just seem like, I don't know, you're just someone that I wouldn't want to grab a beer with, right? It's just annoying. Anyways, so a lot of them talk about the phantom braking. A few of them just complain and whine about it. But I think this is a big deal. It seems like Tesla is taking a more of an aggressive approach to, once and for all be done with the phantom braking. So I'm excited to see that in here. Improve right-of-way understanding. If the map is inaccurate, or I'm not even going to read this. So essentially what this one is saying, okay, we have, just crappy GPS map data just to have an idea of where we're going, right? Not that the neural nets need that to know where we are, but just to get an idea what the path is, right? No different than you and me. We use our Apple Maps or our Google Maps. And actually, you know what? Do me a favor. Let me know about down below in the comments. What do you guys prefer, Apple Maps or Google Maps? In this household, we have a big debate about this. I'm almost scared to say this because I know I'm going to get lashed back on this, and I know everybody's going to agree with my fiance, but I'm all for Apple Maps. I think Apple Maps is so much better, and she's all about Google Maps. So let me know down below in the comments what you think, what you guys prefer. But anyways, the FSD uses maps the same way we do, right? We don't use the maps to drive, right? The maps just tell us, hey, take a left now, hey, take a right now to get to a certain destination. So that's all the vehicle does as well. But what this new update should do, and what it attempts to do, is to understand just like we would, right? If, say, my Apple Maps is saying, hey, take a left here, and there's very clearly a one-way, or it's very clearly a dead end or the wrong turn, I can make that decision and be like, nope, it's wrong. I need to keep going straight. So the idea is that now the car can do the same thing. The car can understand, oh, no, I can't do that. I'm going to keep going straight. I'll find another route. Instead of just saying, well, the map told me I can do this, so this should be good to go, right? So it's taking more of that understanding of the world around you and what is and what is not true. So this should be a big one, especially for all the people that are constantly upset about the map data being incorrect and think that that's a bigger issue. I think Tesla really wants to lean more on the vehicle should do what's right, not listen to a map on directions. All right, again, so if the map is telling me to keep going straight, but I can tell that this is turning only to a turning lane, well, I should move to the left lane and keep going straight. So that's the kind of idea, right? To correct the real things that the maps don't know. Okay, so next one, improve the precision of VRU detection by 44.9%, dramatically reducing spurious false positive pedestrians and bicycles. So, okay, again, we don't have to read all of this one, but essentially to better detect when there's a human, a bicyclist, a motorcycle, just other things around us, have better detection of it and what they're doing, right? A better detection of how they're moving. And then also, as far as things like, you can read here, skid marks, raindrops, tar seams, to make sure that we have a better understanding of what that is and whether or not that's a human, if it's a bicycle, right? Just object detection. And that way, we don't have these false reactions from the vehicle or these jerks that are unnecessary or make it an unsmooth ride. All right, so finally on this last one down here, reduce the predicted velocity error of very close by motorcycles, scooters, wheelchairs. I mean, I think that's pretty straightforward. So essentially, getting a better understanding of other, I guess you could say, moving objects around us and their behavior, their velocity, and their velocity in relation to ours. All right, so let's go over to this next one. So this next one is reduce the predicted velocity error by very close motors. Oh, this is the one we just read. Pardon me on that one. Improve creeping profile for a higher jerk. So this one's interesting. Normally, you don't want your car to jerk at all, right? Well, that's not quite true. If you think about it, if you're creeping, right, like whenever you come to a stop as you're creeping up towards that light, right, it's a jerk, right? Like you are jerking, you're putting the brakes on a little more aggressively, right? It's not like you're coming down to a stop sign or a traffic light where you need to slow down, come to a complete stop. No, this is more of a jerking motion. And so the idea here is to improve this and give better feeling of that jerking reaction. And I think where I've seen a lot of this is Chuck Cook. Absolutely love his videos. If you don't know who he is, he's the one that I used to always show about the unprotected left-hand turns in the median. He's out of Jacksonville, Florida. If you don't know who he is, check out his stuff. It's great. But a lot of times he comes up to the stop sign and the car is creeping and it just comes to a very slow stop. It does stop, but it's not something where he feels confident. Is it going to stop? Is it not? And that's where that jerk gives you the confidence that, oh, it is going to stop. It's just creeping and it's this natural movement, right? I don't know how to explain it. It's a very organic thing. Next time you're creeping to go out into an unprotected left-hand turn, think about that and you'll get 100% what I'm saying here. Improved control for nearby obstacles by predicting continuous distance to static geometry with general static obstacle, what's that say, network? Yeah, I'm getting old, network. Okay, so this one as well, this is essentially just better understanding of where I am in relation to static objects. Static objects just means objects that don't move, right? Statics and dynamics. So static means not moving, staying still. So this can be anywhere from trash cans, cones. It could probably even be a curve, right? Where am I in relation to that curve? Or even vehicles that aren't moving, parked vehicles. So that's great, especially so that you have a better idea of how close you can be to these objects and still feel comfortable, right? There's a difference between getting close and not hitting something versus being comfortable and not hitting something, right? There is a measurable difference there. So I think that's what this aims to help. Reduce vehicle park attribute error rate by 17%, achieve increase data set size by 14%, also improve brake light accuracy. Okay, so this one, I think this was pretty straightforward. Again, we'll talk about the back half first. Whenever the vehicle is driving, the FSD is driving, right? We can see on the display, we can see all of the car brake lights that are in front of us. And so one is to improve the accuracy of that and the timing of that. But the other one too is to understand whether a vehicle is parked or not. At least that's how I'm interpreting this. So the idea is, imagine that you are in a road and you have cars that are a vehicle that's double parked, right? So it's in the actual drive lane, but it's parked illegally, but it's there, it's parked, and we need to go around it. So it's determining whether or not that car is parked, that vehicle is parked, and that I should go around it. Now, on the inverse, something that we've seen a lot actually with FSD Beta, if you've watched any of the YouTube videos, you'll see sometimes FSD Beta gets impatient and it'll struggle to realize, no, these cars aren't parked. We're in traffic. This is a stoplight. Nobody can move right now. And you'll see FSD Beta try to go around it, right? So I think this helps both of those cases. So this should be an interesting one to see how that evolves. This next one, I think this is going to be one that's going to help Chuck Cook a lot. Improve clear-to-go scenario velocity error by 5%, and highway scenario velocity error by 10%. Achieve turning loss function targeted at improving performance on difficult scenarios. To me, this sounds exactly like what Chuck Cook and all his YouTube videos try to solve. So for those of you who don't know, he's got this infamous unprotected left-hand turn in Jacksonville, Florida. And the whole idea is he has to go out, he has to stay in the median, and then he can go out into the other lane, right? But getting onto that median is very, very crucial because you've got 2 lanes of traffic coming this way, you got 2 lanes of traffic going this way, and you only have this median where you can rest. And if you don't go onto that median and you're over here trying to make that left, you might sit there forever just waiting for, both sides to be clear enough for you to go. So that is not the way humans drive. That's not a realistic way to drive. So you have to go onto that median, hang out there for a second, and then merge onto the oncoming traffic. So I think this will help that out by giving it more confidence, especially when I read a clear to go scenario velocity. So I still don't know if that will solve the vehicle actually staying in the median. I'm not sure. I would love to know where that's at, but either way, I think this should give it better understanding of when to go and when not to go. Improved detection and control of open car doors. That's pretty self-explanatory. Improved smoothness turns by using optimization-based approach to decide which road lines are irrelevant for given lateral and longitudinal acceleration and jerk limits. I think that's pretty self-explanatory as well. As far as side to side, forward or backwards. Improve stability of FSD UI visualization by optimizing Ethernet data transfer pipeline by 15%. That's interesting. I didn't know that they had a Ethernet data transfer pipeline. I guess that makes sense though. I don't think we're gonna see like 10, 25 gig there. So this, I think we've seen this happen throughout every iteration of FSD Beta, especially once we got into the 10 dot series. The visualization has just been so much clearer, so much crisper, less jitter all throughout it. All right, last one here: improve recall for vehicles directly behind Ego and improve precision for vehicle detection network. I do not know what this means. Ego, I don't know what that means. So I'm not going to BS you guys and tell you I know if something means that I don't. But what it sounds like to me is that they're talking about forced errors. I think that's what it is. Well, so recall can mean 2 different things. Recall could also mean like the memory that the vehicle has. So in other words, if I just saw, this lane is left turn only, and I see the mark in the street and I pass that and I'm waiting at the stoplight, recall could be remembering that lane marking was back there, even though it's been a minute since I've been waiting at this light, right? How long does that recall last? But it could also have to do with false positives or false negatives. So I'm not really sure. This one, I'm not sure what it means. But either way, this is supposed to be a very big update. It's not often that we see Andre Karpathy comment on release notes or updates at all. So I think this is a pretty big deal. We'll see what it looks like. Honestly, I think a lot of these videos are gonna feel the same or look the same, but that's the thing, right? Already we see a lot of these videos with people who are just having zero disengagement. Omar frequently has zero disengagements. The interventions he might have will be, well, maybe I'll give it a little more electrons, a little more battery, a little acceleration here or there, just giving the vehicle confidence on indecision. And a lot of the things we see here seems to be set up to fix those things, right? So people like Omar already have very few disengagements, if any. All right, he actually already did a drive today in 10.11, 0 disengagements, went to Chipotle, which sounds so good right now. Let me know below in the comments. Do you guys love Chipotle? Because it is a staple in this household. We eat so much Chipotle. Anyways, off topic there. I'm just getting myself hungry over here. But yeah, so he had 0 disengagements. I'll see other people go on FSD Beta and use it. And, it's going to be a tricky thing because it's getting so good that it gets to a point where people will disengage or they'll complain about something saying, that's not how I would have done it. Well, that's not the point of FSD. Like, I don't think it should try to drive like every human because we're not the best drivers ourselves. And I'll see a lot of times people drive and they'll be like, oh, there's a phantom brake. And, I'm watching the video where I see everything. They're paying attention to driving. And I'll notice something out of the corner. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's what the vehicle saw. That's why it braked a little bit because it didn't know what that individual was going to do. They didn't know if they were going to keep walking or if they were going to turn, and it's just being cautious about that. So I think, I don't know, sometimes the commentary, I don't think is as helpful. I tend to mute it off on some people. Other people, I keep it on. It's just all about how you deliver your messaging, right? Like you don't even if it's something you don't like, you can spin it into a positive, or you can deliver it in a positive way. It doesn't have to sound like you're complaining or whining. If you want to know, like, I think people like Golly does a great job with that. I think Chuck Cook does a pretty good job with that. But yeah, I don't want to get myself in trouble here and keep talking about that. But it's exciting to see this stuff out there. Elon Musk might be fighting Putin. Who knows what's going to happen? Stock price. Let's just touch on that real quick. Yep, we saw another sell-off today. Surprise, surprise. Who didn't expect that? I think we all expected that. I think tomorrow it'll be more of a flat day, if not up day. And then we have the Fed meeting or the decision of what the rate hike will be. I think that'll be a completely flat day up until 2:30, and then we'll see what Thursday and Friday hold for us. Either way, to me, I'm really looking forward to next week. Next week is when we get deliveries from Giga Berlin. Very excited about that. And then, as I've been saying all along, I think once we get into April, I think that's when things start to turn around for all of us. So hold on tight. I know it's hard right now. I know everybody's bleeding. Everybody's in the same boat right now. Russia, Ukraine, hey, they're still talking. I guess that's a positive, if there is a positive. Communication is better than no communication. Hopefully that comes to an end. Hopefully they can come to an agreement. I don't really care what the agreement is at this point, just as long as everybody puts their guns down and we can de-escalate things. That's all we need. Oil went down today, which is somewhat surprising. So maybe that gives some relief for people out there. Oil prices have been so high. It's causing all kinds of fear, all kinds of inflation. So the world's in a crazy place, but you know what? We're going to take it one day at a time. All right. Well, we're going to leave it there for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You'll get another one tomorrow and Wednesday. Thursday, I may not post one. As I've mentioned before, I will be flying out to Mexico. I know, back on the road. But it's going to be a good one for us, so we're going to enjoy this trip. But all right, we're going to leave it there. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell if you enjoy this type of content, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.